Good day. Day 4. First thing I've come to realize on this day 4 is that going live every day is definitely something that requires preparation, discipline, and consistency. The preparation is supremely important because it sets the stage for, it gives you your scaffolding, the structure that you need to jump into the project or whatever it is that you're trying to scale. And for me, in this setting, I'm trying to scale the experience of being a creator whom makes content that can branch out into other spheres, that can then work with product and design, branding and marketing across different institutions, and have fun while growing, learning, and teaching. So that is the purpose of this space, and A Mind of Valor is the brand and title and the framework that I've chosen. If you read up on the blog, westtolbert.com, officially called Westerfield, it talks about the 25 contiguous principles that I govern opportunities via and things that I think through when I'm looking to launch something new, form a partnership, or just work creatively. So, A Mind of Valor, mind stands for and always has man in need of discipline. And valor stands for vision, ambition, leadership, organization, and resolve. So among those, there are different levels, different ways for people to access them from their perspective or from their unique vantage point. The notion of asking better questions is still like the premise. It works to establish the territory that we're playing in or the rules to the game without having asked questions up front. We wind up starting a situation or jumping into something and not having completely understood what we've committed to, not having completely knowing what the investment or the sacrifice is for said project, said relationship, accreditation, journey, etc. So asking questions to clarify things up front is something that should never be wasted, and it should never be taken for granted. If you have the opportunity to have questions laid out ahead of time, then definitely take advantage of it. Do your research so then you know what questions to even ask. The proper research, and you'll understand what questions to frame. And then from there, you can talk to mentors, talk to experts. So when the door is open for you to ask questions, you can do so from an informed perspective. You want to know a little something going into the process. That's what I'll come back to with understanding or having a desire to learn about mental models and first principles, because it allows you to better take that curiosity into different domains. So in places where you are not a particular subject matter expert, you can at least know how to frame questions that can be informative and questions that can be transformative to spaces. And I just think it's valuable when you are approaching someone from a different domain of expertise, a different subject matter expert that you can speak in their language, or at least give the impression that you are earnestly trying to speak in their dialect. I'm trying to communicate in the terminology that you speak so that you can have a better opportunity to understand what I'm communicating to you. Right? It's like empathy for uh, life and communication, and a different level of empathy for communication. So it's showing a degree of consideration for your audience, whoever that audience may be. So taking the time to educate oneself, taking the time to ask questions, have a storehouse of questions. I have a library of questions that if I get in front of the right expert, that I can ask an informed question. And these questions come from things that I may be reading, papers that I may come across, just the different experiences that I have, that I recognize that, I would understand this a lot better if I could have an expert answer this question for me. So you categorize the question, you frame it, or you compartmentalize it somewhere and wait for the right time, or you wait for the right experience to reintroduce it into the environment and have that question answered. The questions that we are asking are supremely taking us closer to having better outcomes, having better solutions, better relationships, because we take things serious in the beginning. And that's what a lot of this is about. How seriously are you taking said project, said relationship, said deliverable in the beginning? That will almost that will dictate how serious you take it in the end. For persons such as suffering from procrastination, for example, they may assume that a project or task may take them a limited amount of time, further putting off when they start the project, only to get to come up against a deadline and realize, wow, this task is going to require more time, effort, resources than I had anticipated. And then the deliverable, or the potential for on-time deliverable, is disrupted. Had the person taken more time in the beginning to ask questions, flesh out as many questions about what is the expectation, the deliverable, what is being measured, what is KPIs, what partners do I have, or are there any present obstacles to having this project come to fruition? Has somebody else in the past been tasked with this particular thing and either succeeded or this didn't succeed? Is there um, a resource on that experience, a white paper, or something that I can reference, and so on and so forth? It all helps us, the individual, the family, the partnership, the relationship, and how whatever the title may be, to make better determinations about what they're stepping into. And that is, I think, a value to have. And for people who are building a team, it's important to have people on your team who are questioning assumptions and willing to not just strictly adhere to the subject matter that they may be accredited in, but willing to step outside of that space and try new things and pull in other information, other domains, other types of competencies to further enrich a project or experience. Let's not get so stuck in one lane that we forget that there are multiple exits on the highway, and there are back roads, and there are alleys, and that there are opportunities for us to get somewhere by a unique pathway. Oh, in earnest, these are just some of the things that I think about and I consider, and I want to allow A Mind of Valor by Westerfield Tolbert to be a platform to discuss and introduce subject matter experts into the conversation and have them really dive into some of the questions that life and experiences get brought us to, and then take questions from you all out there to really build a storehouse of innovative answers and solutions, and to refine all of our questioning and answering processes. That being said, it is Saturday, coming from Louisville, Kentucky. I believe this is a Derby weekend. I recognize the significance of Derby for the city, and I respect that. So I won't speak ill of the race or the horses, having not originally grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Come moving here after high school in my early 20s. I just kind of am disassociated, maybe, or detached from the whole experience. But, one day, eventually, maybe, I will get into it and find the enthusiasm and the joy to celebrate alongside my many Louisvillians. That won't be today. Today, I'm coming to you, just talking about, again, the mind of valor, decisions, questions, and just practicing this process of articulating the perspective and my way of seeing the world and asking questions to engage the world. So that is our day 4 experience, and I look forward to talking to you on day 5.